I wanted to emphasize it's not just for the IRS reporting your functional expense. Grant makers will ask, charity raters look at it, donors may even look up how much of your expenses are for administrative or general management, or here, as you can see, overhead. Because a study, public study, and this is from Cal Nonprofit, shows the public thinks you should really only spend 23%, but most maybe spend 37% on overhead. And why that's important is because if you are putting your full salary, in that previous example, $50,000 just into your general management, that is not giving an accurate picture of where your time is spent and where the money goes. Another one here, funders, I see this a lot on grant applications. What's your percentage of administrative costs? Again, that breakdown will help give a clear picture here. And then people like charity, or I should say organizations like Charity Watch, the Wise Giving through Better Business Bureau, they don't want to see nonprofits exceeding 40%, or you're getting a poor rating. They want to make sure the bulk of your expenses is directly going to the programs to serve the community. All right, so now that we've touched on that a little bit, I do want to show you in the next slide, for those who aren't familiar with the 990, excuse me, this is a picture of part 4 here, statement of functional expense, and the words are fairly small, but here it says program, service expense, management and general expense, and then fundraising. So they do ask for that breakdown on your tax form. Are there any questions? That could be a series in itself, how to easily track and allocate your time, because it can get a little overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. All right, let's move on. Excuse me. Oh, actually, before we move on, let me tell you some other examples other than salary that you would want to allocate between the functional expenses. And here you can see there are quite a few. There are more than this, but I thought it would be good to peek at. These are other expenses you'll want to make sure you are putting under the umbrella of either programs, general management, or fundraising. Okay, moving on. Let's move on to our next section, donor statements. This one's exciting. Most of you all actually send donor either receipts or a letter, thank yous or whatever, shortly after you receive the donation. But even so, it's still a good idea to send a full year statement. And here I'm going to show you, bear with me. This is from an IRS publication, 1771. If you need to look it up, that written acknowledgments are sent no later than January 31st following the year of the donation. So you may have a donor that pledges, or that contributes throughout the year. You can send them a full statement of all their donations. And this is what goes on that statement. The name of your organization, the amount, the statement that says no goods or services were provided. You can add your EIN, etc. Now remember, we talked about non-cash gifts, and this is what that publication says, and this is for your in-kind donation, a description but not the value of your non-cash contribution. Now there's some other things you can add to, make it personalized and add that special touch, and I want to talk about that. On your donor letters, it doesn't have to be a bland, thank you for your $5,000 gift last year, we appreciate you. No, you can expand that. Tell them how your organization used it. Tell them your current work or goals, statistics, quotes, personal stories. You make it important to them, so it encourages them that you're using their contribution wisely, and they may continue to invest in your organization, and maybe even tell a friend. Tell a friend about all the good work you're doing. So here is a little example. I thought this was fun. You can Google ideas, but in this example, it was very personalized. They're thanking them for financially partnering with us. Your generosity has allowed us to, one, provide 400 backpacks to students in need, dig 4 wells in northern Kenya, and also provide an environment where 75 people were baptized. And then on the back of this personalized letter, they included the list of their contributions. We're grateful for your support, and you have, see, the donations are on the back for your tax purposes. So that was just something online. For those of you who even have a standard template to send out donor letters, it's okay to update that, you know, revise it, share news from last year, you know, keep it current. So we'll move on from this section. We're going to talk about, everyone knows, should know about W-2s. That again is due IRS by the 31st. And you can see here, standard W-2. Many clients I work with, they outsource their payroll, so that shouldn't really be a headache for many of you, but if you do it in-house, please make sure that you're getting those if you haven't already sent them, if they're submitted fairly early. And then for 1099s, this is our final section. Those two are due by the 31st. Anyone who's a non-employee and they receive compensation, if they made over $600 last year, you paid them $600 or more for services, then they should be receiving a 1099, unless they're like a corporation. But you definitely want to make sure you don't miss that deadline and that you get those forms out. So at this point, everyone, we zoomed through that. I thought this would take maybe a half hour, but I think we're doing pretty good. If there are any questions, I saw Kenyatta has joined us, thanking me for the example. Thank you, Kenyatta. I really appreciate your feedback. My hope is to see everyone win, everyone have efficient accounting systems, and that they know why they're doing what they're doing and how to improve upon that. So the information I share, I hope I can infuse more examples. And from my experience working with nonprofits nearly 20 years, and I would just really encourage you all, even if you're watching on the replay, feel free to post a question or message me if it's something that I can help with, or if you want more examples for, as I mentioned, salary allocations. That's a topic that we could do a follow-up series on, and I could share with you different ways that you can track your time easily and make those adjustments in your accounting records so that those salaries and wages are spread and allocated amongst your functional expenses. So if there are no other questions, next month, mid-month, we are going to do another series in the Insider View, which is basically just going behind the scenes with me. Next month, we're talking about month-end close. And I'm highlighting that because we're in a new year, and this will be the first month-end close of the year. So just like I shared some things to look for when closing out the year, I will also take some time and go through the month-end checklist and things that can help you make sure that you're giving your board accurate financial statements, that the information you're reviewing can help you make good management decisions. We want to make sure that they are reliable financial reports, and we don't want to miss anything to the best of our ability. So next month is, again, month-end close. Feel free to visit our website. You can, obviously, you're here on Facebook, those in the group, so just stay in contact. Let me know if you'd like to see more or have any questions. Have a good Sunday afternoon. Bye-bye.